What is the two knights versus king endgame? Have you ever found yourself wondering why two knights cannot checkmate a lone king? This endgame scenario is quite fascinating and showcases some unique principles of chess. In this situation, one side has two knights and a king, while the other side has just a king. The interesting part is that this endgame is a theoretical draw. The knights simply do not have the ability to force checkmate against a lone king, even if both players play perfectly. One key reason for this is the knights' lack of coordination. They struggle to corner the opposing king into a checkmate position without any help. The defending king can always evade checkmate by moving legally and avoiding traps that could lead to stalemate. This creates a situation where the side with the knights cannot make any progress. Another aspect to consider is the risk of stalemate. As players attempt to restrict the movement of the opposing king, they can inadvertently create a stalemate. This makes achieving a forced checkmate nearly impossible. In practical play, this endgame rarely occurs. If it does, players often agree to a draw once it becomes clear that the knights cannot make any headway. Now, it is important to note that the term two knights endgame can sometimes refer to positions where the defending side has a pawn. In such cases, the knights can potentially win if they manage to blockade the pawn early on. However, this scenario falls outside the strict definition of a pawnless endgame and is much more complex, often requiring many moves to execute properly. For players, recognizing the droish nature of this endgame is essential. It is wise to avoid unnecessary risks when transitioning into it. If a pawn is still on the board, focus on advancing it or blocking it, as its presence can change the dynamics of the endgame significantly. Many players mistakenly believe that two knights can force checkmate against a lone king. This confusion often arises from mixing up pawnless endgames with those that involve pawns. In the latter, checkmate is theoretically possible, but practically unachievable due to the limitations of movement. In summary, when you find yourself in a pawnless endgame with two knights against a king, aim for simplification to a draw. If there are pawns involved, prioritize precise calculations to exploit potential winning chances, but even experienced players can struggle in these positions. Understanding these principles will help you navigate the complexities of chess endgames more effectively.